Hello everybody, and welcome to Amateur Cast, where I get you and your replays to be casted for my entertainment, and hopefully to help you improve a little bit as well. I'm your host, ZookaMan, and we're going to be going into ATVZ. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our players. In the top right-hand position, we have Xahova as the red Zerg player. That's actually a really cool name, Xahova. Sounds almost angry, but it's awesome. And his opponent on the opposite side of the map, we're going to have xquizit. I hope that he starts putting out some nice quiz trivial answers. I think that would make this game a lot more entertaining. It's almost like when Day9 did Seuss with nukes. That was a lot of fun. I do remember watching a couple of the games from there, and that was quite enjoyable indeed. And regardless, I digress quite a bit. ZVT, before we go into that, I'm going to put a little bit more of a disclaimer. I just did a cast in my time recently, so the one before this, I just did a couple minutes ago, and my sound quality was kind of messed up because I have congestion, and I still kind of have the congestion, obviously, because I didn't get it. I feel a little bit better after I have gotten some water into me. I've given a little bit of a break, so I feel a little bit better. Congestion's a little bit less present. I'm going to try to avoid making the awful, ugly sounds that I made in the last cast, and hopefully that doesn't come up into the... It doesn't mess with the sound quality enough. We'll just have to kind of wait and find out. It is going to be going for a hatch first from Zerg player right now, and that is one of the many things that you see from Zerg player, kind of using that as a segue to get back into the whole ZVT matchup. Hatch first into, I think 15-15 is a very standard kind of move up. It looks like we get 15-16 here for a pool timing, so I like 15-15 against Terran because it gives me the ability to have the spawning pool pop up really quickly, and then I have the ability to produce both queens at the same time, as well as a round of Zerglings, a couple of Zerglings out across the map for scouting information, and that is extremely helpful in this matchup in particular because you have some ability to get some vision of your opponent and know what they're up to, and scouting is a very key component of this game. Something to point out here already that's weird from our Terran players, we're going to be seeing a refinery, a double refinery in fact. It's probably going to be seeing Banshees would be my first idea. Unless he's going for a super quick factory. He's doing a 1-1-1. Let's kind of keep an eye on that and see what he's up to. Double Queen is coming up on the way right now from Xahova. And pretty much your standard TVZ early game right now. Probably going to be seeing Hellions in a little bit. Is going to go for a double factory. Oh my, yeah, that's definitely a little bit different from what you normally see. This means we're probably going to be seeing quite a few Hellions out on the map in just a little bit here. And if all they have to defend back home from Xahova is Zerglings and drones, well, I guess that's a little bit unfortunate. It is going to go in for Metabolic Boost right about now. So that is a good thing. Having the ability to increase the movement speed of your lings is going to be really helpful for him to be able to scout, and it's going to make it so that he can surround a little better and try to knock down those Hellions. It is going to be a starport, so it's sort of a 1-1-1. Tech Lab tanks here. Is he going? He's going mech. I'm pretty sure. It's just tanks, Hellions. That's probably going to be for Banshees or maybe Ravens. We'll have to kind of keep an eye on that. He's going to be going for a Blue Flame. Oh, I see. He's going to be going for the double factor reduction for Hellions, but he's going to get the Blue Flame out of the Tech Lab for that. So he's going to be trying to invest into these Hellions. We're going to be seeing double gas trap down here from Xahova back home. Layer coming up as well, so he will be able to get up higher tech in just a little bit here. It's going to be going up onto 4 geysers now, which means we could be seeing... I think probably Roach Hydra, or at least Hydralis, because you really need 3 base gas to be able to go up onto mutas effectively. Not that 2 base muta isn't a thing and can't happen, but you really want the 3 base gas if you want to be able to get out a lot of mutas really quickly. It's going to be a Banshee follow-up to this. I didn't get to really see what level of play this is. I believe it's around Platinum. So hopefully we're going to be seeing something here. I don't think I can agree with the fact that he's leaving these Hellions at home. Yes, he's waiting for Blue Flame, but even so, he could still move out and roast a couple of drones, pull back, roast a couple of drones, pull back, and then go in with Blue Flame. But maybe that's just me. Maybe it's better for him to be able to wait a little while and get the Hellions with Blue Flame before he moves out. Because there are quite a few. He was able to get a couple of extra rounds out. So all's well that ends well. He's going to be a tank follow-up here, as well as wooden mines. But I'm not sure if those are for defense or offense. We'll have to kind of find out. Banshee is going to be floating on over here. You have a little bit of lag spike there. Ooh, hopefully that resolves fairly shortly. Okay, cool. Banshee's going to be coming into the natural expansion. And it's going to be able to get a couple of drones. Meanwhile, the Hellions are trying to pull all into the main base. Blue Flame is going to be able to get quite a few of those Zerglings, but in the end, it may not be worth it because all of them are going to die to Blue Flame. Meanwhile, the Banshee is going to be working at the mineral line in the natural, while the Hellions are able to get into the main very easily and kill a couple of drones at the very least before this Queen finishes them off. Second CC is coming up. I'm not sure that I necessarily agree with the CC being coming up that late. He probably could have afforded to put it down a little bit sooner, especially considering that he is floating quite a bit. That being said, Zerg player probably could drop down his third base. Needs to saturate this natural expansion. He is very low on drones in the mineral line. We're having a push in of the Banshee. That is up to 4 kills. Oh, well, that's another Banshee, excuse me. It's going to be able to get out a couple of extra drone kills. And Queens are going to fall back just enough to let the Banshee get away. 19 workers killed here from Quits, and that's really, really helpful. And by Quits, did I say Quits? I meant Xquizit. Probably just call him Quiz so that this doesn't happen again. Winter mines, they are positioned outside that natural expansion. They are ready to go. Ready to go to work. That was actually a really bad impression. Spire. Rotorn. I believe the Rotorn is on defense against Hellbat push-out. I don't see him wanting to do Muta Roach. At least I really hope he's not doing Muta Roach. Needs to go for third base, as he's only on 4 geysers, and yes, he has this huge gas bank right now, but with mutas that will disappear really quickly, so having the increased income of gas, or just in general the increased income, is going to be a good idea. There's the third base. Expansions are always good, unless your opponent's being very aggressive and has a large army outside your base. Then you don't necessarily want to take an expansion. Changeling is going to go out and scout about, is going to see this mineral line. Nice and happy, and is going to get completely blown up by that sea shank. It's just on a stroll. Just on a stroll. We're going for Carapace first, which is an interesting decision. Yes, it's going to apply to all existing units, and whether that's going to be Zerlings or Roaches or whatever the thing he's planning for, it'll apply universally. I think that the attack upgrade is just much better. Actually, it looks like he already had the +1 missile attack, so he's probably going for the Carapace until he was able to get up his... I think it's... I'm trying to think of what the requirement... No, it's layer for tier 2, and then it's high for 3-3, I believe. So, I'm not sure exactly why he got Carapace. 22 drones are going to be popped on out to that third base, and that's going to be able to saturate that pretty darn quickly. Third base, remember, Terran player is on the field as well. He's going to be going for this base with the ice still unbroken. Probably should go ahead and clear that. We do have one Thor on the way to help defend against the Mutas. We do have a couple of turrets coming up as well. So realistically, they probably won't be able to get a whole bunch done. He is on a low amount of harvesters right now, actually. 3971. Our Zerg player is very, very comfortable up on 71 drones right now. That means his income is going to completely skyrocket, as we see here twice. Our Terran player with his mewing capabilities, which is that's just insane. +1/+1 is coming up for the mechanical units of our Terran player. He's going to get slightly supply blocked here, which is just not going to end up all that well for him. Is going to move back the command center. That was at the third base. I'm not sure why that was a decision that was made. We're seeing a macro hatch in the main base of Xahova. Two missile attacks as well as the level 1 flyer attacks just about finishing up right now. So he's going to be able to be on a pretty good position as far as his units are at. But this is a really weird thing, because he's not going Mutas, which you would think once the Spire comes out, and especially with a 4K, 3K bank, you just go bing, Mutas. We're gonna have the Banshee pop up back from that actual expansion, and that'll help get cleared away with a Overseer and a couple of Queens. But as I was saying, normally we think that the Mutas are going to be going immediately outwards after the Spire, but he didn't really do that. They're going to be coming up now, along with a bunch of Overlords. But there are no Banglings in this army, which against Terran feels like a little bit of a mistake, but at the same time, I suppose going up against mech, you don't necessarily need the Banglings as much. But I guess you could argue that you really don't need the Zerglings either. I would say even Roaches are a better decision than the Zergling on the ground, so I'm not too sure what our Zerg's main goal here in his composition is. But I definitely think that our Terran player has the advantage as far as that's concerned. He does have a couple of Ravens on the field, as well as the durable materials, which gives the missile turrets from the Ravens extra durability and lets them last how much longer? It doesn't really say. Time duration just increases it, so they'll be able to be on the field for quite a bit longer. Drilling claws coming out as well, pretty much getting all the other upgrades that he hasn't gotten yet to help keep his bank down. We are getting up into quite a large flock of Mutalisks. 22 are out right now, 17 more on the way, and he's not really doing anything with them. The thing about Mutalisks is they are a very aggressive unit. You use them to be on the map, and because they're so fast and so able to move in, take out a couple of SCVs, run back, they're a very powerful unit to be used in aggression sense. So, although we know as observers that the Terran player does have defense against this, our Zerg player doesn't, and he's not really using these Mutalisks. Maybe he's waiting for a critical mass, but in that sense, he's waiting far too long. And most Terran players will have a defense up against Mutalisks by this point, as we can see by quiz. So he needs to get up onto the map earlier with Mutalisks so he can do damage earlier. He is going to be able to get the 4th base over here, which is a small victory for him, but the Thors are going to come up here, and they're going to pretty much finish that off. And the Mutalisks will fly away. Not as much damage done as he probably would have wanted. 4th base is on the way from our Zerg player. We do have the 3rd base working on up. Did take quite a bit of damage there, but it is still safe. 3 debris is on its way for our mech units, and we have the 2 fire attacks right now, and we see the infestation pits so that we can go up on the Hive Tech, which we can very much support right now because we have a huge bank as a Zerg player who's also going to be getting pretty much maxed out on Mutas and is going to go in and try to do something. He's going to snipe one turret. The other one is going to barely survive. A couple of my shots are going to be able to force Mutas back for a little while. But as the Zerg player, I'm a little bit worried. So why are you worried, ZookaMan? Well, first and foremost, one thing that I see a lot of Zerg players do, especially in the Platinum to Diamond, even to a certain extent the Masters level, is they get to Mutas and they stick up on the Mutalist production. And the worst thing you can do as a Zerg player, but especially as a Zerg player with Mutalisks, is to stay on Mutalisks. Mutalisks are a very good unit, and as I mentioned before, they are a very aggressive unit, and they can do a lot of things for you. However, there is a certain point when Mutalisks are no longer viable, and as a Terran player, really, this is the composition that he needs to be able to deal with Mutalisks. He's got Thors to get the splash damage off. He has Ravens so that he can do Hunter-Seeker missiles, which will get into the Mutalisk flock and kill a lot. So right now, Mutalisks are not really his best option, and most of his supply is going to have to go into something else, I feel. Otherwise, he's going to have a lot of problems moving on into the later stages of this game. I'm not saying Mutalisks are bad, but they definitely do have their times. They're having a point defense turn, going to be able to push back the Mutalisks, and they're trying to get stuff done, and I applaud that. But he really needs to do something more. He's going to be going for Banelings behind this, which I can kind of see as being something good, but at the same time, we have a lot of Widow Mines on the field, and as with a couple of tanks to support, really Banelings aren't going to be able to do a whole lot of damage, and even with 71 of them morphing in, which is an insane amount, assuming that these Widow Mines shots can get off onto it right, and the tanks can set up right, the Banelings won't really be able to do a whole lot. On the reverse side, if the tanks and Widow Mines do not set up right, the Banelings will hit beautiful connections and pretty much win him the engagement, if not the game, depending upon how things work out. He's going to be clearing off the rocks in the middle here. Ravens are going to be coming up to put probably a couple of PDEs. He's going to be retreating back into his main base, or excuse me, his natural expansion. And here go the Banglings. They're rolling in. Lots of damage can be done, but I believe that that's pretty... Actually, never mind. We're good. We're keeping going. Lots of Banglings will be flashing up on these Thors, and the Mutalisks will be able to clear away the rest. That being said, Hunter-Seeker was already going off onto the Mutalisks, and pretty decent micro is going to be able to keep them alive right past their expiration date, and now the Terran player is forced to be on the defensive for a little while as Zerglings and Mutas are heading out across the map to try and do some extra little bit of pressure. We do have the Ultralisk Cavern up. Titanus Plating is on its way, so he's going to be in well prepared to go up on the Ultralisk production at this point. Third base is in danger, and a lot of SCVs are going down to the Zerglings as well as the Mutas. Mutas are going to all die, but that doesn't really matter because they pretty much paid themselves back right now, and the Zerglings are all going to be cleaned up. But once again, going to be paying for themselves and the amount of economic damage they were able to get. And with the 5th base on the way here from our Zerg player, he's looking to be in a pretty good position. The one thing I think that he's not doing the best on, it's his creep spread. But that being said, he did have a little bit of trouble when the Terran player moved out and he was able to knock down a couple of that. He needs to get back onto getting creep, especially to connect this space over here so that his units can easily move all around his bases. And I would even mind seeing a couple of tumors start moving up over towards this base so that he can connect that too. I think that would be a good option for him right now. You're going to be seeing Burrow coming up now, as well as the Ventral Sacs, which gives the Overlords the abilities to drop. Trying to keep that bank down. 14 Ultralisks are on their way, and that's kind of scary, to say the least. I don't know how much Quiz has back home to be able to deal with it. He has a very heavy amount of Hellbats with Widow Mines and a couple of Sea Shanks in support. But with Ultralisk and Pathogen Glands coming out for the Infestors, this might be able to take down the mech army of Quiz, because if he can't move anywhere, the Zerglings will be able to get up around him and be able to surround very easily. Not to mention the Ultralisks, and now even the Banelings as well, and that is actually really cool. They are glowing. I have not seen Ultralisks from the Collector's Edition on the on medium graphics with the brightness mod yet, and that's actually really cool. They kind of glow. It's kind of cool. I guess that's the only thing I can really say from here. Anyways, 5th base and a 4th base are on their way for Quiz, and they're both going to be taken in really awkward positions, but to be fair, these positionings on this map are awkward for Terran and Protoss, but not as awkward for Zerg, at least as far as I've seen and witnessed from my own games. So we're seeing an engagement coming up here. Widow Mines are going to be not able to get into this fight. Braylon's already slashing off onto the entire army. Very, very good connections, killing off a lot of units there. And Xahova is in a really good position now against this, but we're seeing a Hunter Seeker Missile onto a couple of the Ultralisks. Not really going to matter because they're just going to be able to go straight through the army of Quiz, and he might be in a bit of danger here. Hunter Seeker Missile is going to fail. There isn't a lot of production back home from Quiz, trying to fall back and hopefully defend against this, because if he can't get the units up, then these Ultras are just going to be able to pretty much gnaw away at everything, which would be a truly unfortunate situation. Most of them are in red, however, except one that's still in green. So it's kind of auto coloring. He's going to be seeing a Hunter Seeker Missile, but really they're not going to be able to do a whole lot, because the splash damage isn't going to be affecting the Ultralisks as much as, say, Mutalisks or Void Rays. Plus 3 fire attack is going to be added on right now from Xahova. We have 76 Zerglings moving out across the map, and right now Quiz is in a bit of a bind, to say the least. A lot of units are going to be moving out. This base is up and operational. So that will be good for him. We have more Banelings on their way. That is a large number of Banelings, and I am going to be lagging a little bit actually because of that. Jake's are going to be setting up over here, but really if an Ultras army decides to come in, a couple Sea Shanks really aren't going to be enough. And now that this base is going to go down, actually Xahova is going to fall back, which is an interesting decision. Always wanting to lead with the Banelings. I get ya. Oh, maybe. Oh, Banelings! And you're going to stop to go kill the SCV. Well, you can't say that they're not thorough. Quiz is going to be continuing up on to the Thor production, which, honestly, I'm going to just say it's a mistake. Yes, Thors are good, and yes, Thors are helpful against Mutalisks, but not against Banglings or Ultras. Really, you want to have unsieged Sea Shanks for Ultralisks, and you want to have preferably Widow Mines or Ultralisks to get off the AoE damage on the Banglings and cause a lot of them to die before the connections hit. So I think that really the biggest thing Quiz needs right now is siege tanks, not necessarily Thors. He's going to be moving out over here. There is going to be a Bangling. Oh, goodness. Bangling Landmine's going to be moving over here. I love this play. That's going to do a lot of damage. I hope I see what happens there. Gold base is going to be taken here from Xahova. Feeling very comfortable in his shoes. And why shouldn't he? He has 8 Ultralisks on the way. Hellion's army moving up towards the north base, and they will be able to get, well, pretty much this queen as well as a large number of drone kills. And this is a good way for him to be able to try to get back into this. If he can clear a couple Widow Mines with the Blue Flame, maybe kill a couple hatcheries, stop the gas reduction, he'll be in a very good position. Actually, Ultras are going to be able to block the Hellions, so a lot of them are going to die trying to escape. Good play there from Xahova, actually picking up every last one of them, making the trade a lot more even. Oh, those Banglings. So close. A few more are going to come out over, trying to take that out. A lot of Ultras are on the map right now. We're going to be seeing the double starport coming up. Triple starport coming up, excuse me. And I do agree with the decision to go air, because that opens up to him the ability to go for Banshees, which, you know, usually things that can shoot down, but are good against Ultras, because Ultras can't just jump in the sky, grab onto a Banshee, and then like rip it down to the ground. As cool as that would be, I feel like that would be extremely broken. Like Burrow Charge, you know, because that was a thing for some time. Blizzard. Anyways, we're going to be seeing the Fusion Core drop down here from Quiz up in the main base, up into his house. That means that battle cruisers are going to be able to enter the field fairly shortly here, and those definitely fit under the category of good against Ultralisks, because they can shoot down. I can definitely agree with that. We're going to have a couple Ravens coming up as well, help kind of solidify this. So there's going to be a Bangling run in here, but a lot is going to die to the Widow Mines beforehand, but just going to be able to get into the main base. And they're going to go for probably the ooh, this is a tough decision. What do you pick? Yeah, that's probably what I would have picked too, going for the starports. Needs to get those repaired. And now knows that his opponent's going to go up onto things in the air. And therefore, he's going to be responding with getting Corruptors. And I very much like that decision. So he's been doing a good job of being able to transition his army, which is something that Zerg is very powerful with. We're going to have him get Ultralisk a move on in. I think he's wanting to buy himself a little bit more supply by sacrificing these and getting as much damage done as he possibly can. And he's going to be able to take out most of the army, which is very good for him. One Ultras is going to try desperately to take down that command center, but alas, it shall remain standing tall. Battle cruisers are going to be added on right about now. Corruptors are on the field and being very Corruptor-like. I don't know, guys. We're going to be having a hatchery down here on its way. We might... Oh, no, those are Banglings. I thought we might be seeing another base there. Couple of factors are moving out across the map. Maybe they're scouting. Zergling army is going to be trying to move up over here. Is going to get a lot of damage, actually, from those Widow Mines. Really good hits. 18, 35, 13, 0. Oh my goodness, those Widow Mines were able to get so many kills. Oh, man. Battle cruisers are going to be finishing up now. We do have 4 starports up so they will be able to produce 4 battlecruisers at a time. Although, just battlecruisers are probably not going to be the best decision for him. I'd like to see a couple of Banshees in here, just so he can pretty much take out the Zergmi force. That's really heavily going to be what Zahova's pouring his minerals into. Building lots and lots of Zergmis, and I believe the plan is to go up onto a large number of Banglings behind that. But yeah, Banshees would be helpful in that situation. Right now, 80 supply, right? Under 102, pretty much maxed out from Xahova. So it's a little unfortunate here from Quiz. He needs to try to win an engagement here. If he can beat up this army here before it transitions, he has quite a bit of time between hand where he can do damage, I believe. However, that's easier said than done. There is a lot. Oh, popping in. They're gonna all activate, I believe. No, 2 more still, or 1 more still active. And those Zerglings are going to die. The rest are going to be able to clean this up. And he needs to turn that command center around, put it down, and focus at the task at hand. We're going to be having a little bit of shenanigans coming on as those Widow Mines go into the base over here. Is going to be able to almost kill 2 queens and then a couple of drones on the side as well, forcing Xahova to pull back those Zerglings where he really didn't need to pull all of them, but that's alright. He's going to be able to clean that up. Quiz knows that it's really all at this point trying to buy time so that he can finish up this army, and if that means distracting his opponent by throwing in units like Widow Mines, that's a pretty decent price to pay. And man, I would pay Widow Mines for the ability to get a maxed out air army. That sounds like that's awesome. Something I don't like right now from the Zerg player. He's being really passive. And I mean really passive. He has a pretty much maxed out army right now that he's not doing anything with. He can send these lings over here. He can send these lings out here and stop a lot of the income of our Terran player. He could throw lings into the natural and maybe even into the main base so that he can get damage on the production facilities. There's a lot of things he could be doing right now, but he's not doing them, which is just not good for him. He needs to be active with his army. He can't sit on a maxed out army. Honestly, you should never sit on a maxed out army in StarCraft. If you're maxed out, you should be moving out across the map and you should be trying to do something. There's no excuse for having a maxed out army that you just don't use, because those resources could be put into other things. A lot of Zerglings are going to go down here to these Hellbats with Blue Flame, actually getting a bunch of kills and forcing the mech army out of place here. It's natural patient in a bit of a trouble, going to lose a lot of supply depots. Needs to get this one up now before this army can slink up into the main base and threaten the production facilities, which will be a terrible, terrible thing for Quiz right now. He can't afford to lose the production. Oh no, close the right, go away! No, Quiz! Quiz! They're going to be coming up into the main base. They're going to be able to chew away at most everything. Meanwhile, the air army is going to be able to take out the air army of the Zerg, and that's going to all go down, of course, because there was absolutely no control with the Corruptors. That being said, the Zerglings are able to take out pretty much the entire main base of Quiz, and that's a lot of production structures that are going down here. A lot of supply depots. He's going to be supply blocked quite heavily for quite a while, to be perfectly honest. And that might pretty much go up into Zahova's favor, because right now he could just hit Z and max out and then move out across the map. Looks like Quiz is deciding to go for a final push here, knowing that he really needs to do something here. And to a certain extent, he could get the supply back anyways. It looks like the Zookas are going to go for the base trade instead of coming back to finish this off, which I would feel it's a better decision to come back. I understand that there's a lot of Hellbots in this army, but I feel like that would be the better decision right now. We do have a couple of Wouldn't shots going off, and this is pretty much going to degrade back into a base trade situation. And Corruptors are going to be on the prime source of... Holy Corruptors! And actually the Ravens are going to flying all the way into their deaths past the Corruptors. That's actually huge pickup from Xahova. And with quite more Corruptors coming out right now, not looking too shabby. That was a really good pickup. He does, of course, have to deal with Hellbats, though. And seeing as the Zerglings really can't do that the most effectively, as they run in and pretty much all go down and die. Blue Flame Hellbats are so massive on the AoE against light units. And now Quiz is going to be returning the favor and clearing away the main base of his opponent. And this is actually a fairly close game as far as that's concerned. We're really seeing roaches come up, which I feel is a little bit too late. Especially considering that they will probably stream it one at a time. And Quiz, looking to be in a bit of a bind here, does not have the larva capabilities to be able to take out this army, and doesn't have the tech abilities to either. A lot of drones here in a very vulnerable spot. The Woodmines aren't able to fire off and pretty much clear all of those away with one. Meanwhile, we have a couple Hellbats down here at this bait clearing away those drones, and right now Quiz has done a large amount of damage. So hopefully he's going to be able to defend, and I feel like he's still in a better position, but Quiz definitely is not going down without a fight. And the loss of tech, I think, is going to be detrimental to both of our players, almost equally, to be perfectly honest. There's a lot of flashing things on the map right now. We're going to be seeing Hellbats going out and taking care of that base. It's like a couple of Hellbats or Hellions or something to go for this base. A couple of Wintermites are going to be able to fire off onto those Corruptors. And right now the Zerg player is going to kind of get picked apart until his spawning pool comes up, because he can't really build anything without that. And the Banglings roll in, and the Banglings kill. True story. We're going to go up onto 3-4 factories from our Terran player right now, which is an interesting decision to say the least. I'm not sure exactly what the whole plan is with this. Switching back into ground mech against Corruptors is a good idea. Corruptor Roach. So yeah, he definitely could go for the ground army mech style play, and that will catch his opponent off guard, while his opponent's trying to just basically get back into this. So we're going to see a couple of Hellions run up into the north. They're going to be able to take care of this queen and that queen, and I think they might actually get that hatchery as well, which would be an amazing push, amazing pickup, so that he can stop the attack. But it looks like the Hellions are going to be forced to fall back for now, but still able to get quite a bit of damage on the field. That being said, xquizit very, very behind in supply. He needs Hellions on the map. He needs Hellbats on the map to be able to keep his opponent off his back foot and to reduce the drone numbers. And to that end, he's doing fairly well. But he needs to do something more to be able to end this. A couple of Thors would be great. I can get behind that. And probably Sea Shanks, I'd say. Sea Shanks and Thors will probably be the best thing for Xahova right now, just as a general thing to be able to thin out this army. Instead, he's going for a large number of Hellions, which I don't necessarily disagree with. He's going to be able to get stuff onto the map and get damage done. Looks like we're going to be seeing the Zergling army going to maybe push out, but then decided not to. Here come the Hellions down here to this base in the south. They're going to be able to take out both of those queens and are going to be able to easily clear away that mineral line. Blue Flame Hellions is going to be doing a lot of damage. Zergling's going to be trailing in, only to face defeat at the hands of the fiery Hellions. He's going to be able to possibly get the Spire. If not, he very well obviously scouted it. Hellions are going to try to escape, but instead get trapped by the Roach army. Left to die alone. Armory is on its way. So we'll be able to see Thors and other such things. And now our Zerg player has done the brilliant idea of transitioning back into mutas once again. So the Thors definitely still a good idea from xquizit, and honestly, maybe the best idea overall. He's gonna be able to snipe this layer. He's just gonna force Xahova to be words. I'm not sure exactly what I want to say. To be behind in tech. To have to catch up in tech. I'm not sure exactly what I'm saying. We know it's going to be coming up, and they're going to be killing along with the corruptors to, you know, kill. And xquizit been trying to defend here, but I don't think he has enough, to be honest. There's a lot going on here. He's going to be repairing the planetary fortresses, but even if the planetary fortresses clear away these roaches, they will be able to do absolutely nothing against the mutas. Even missile turrets can't really do anything against these mutas, and a lot of supplies dropping here from xquizit. He just does not have the ability to produce anything right now. Four Thors are on their way, but he's going to have to hope for a miracle in order to make this work here. This pit has been rebuilt. Chicken's Hive will probably be not too far off of the future when he finishes up a layer, rather. Meanwhile, this army is going to be able to take care of this base, and quite possibly the armory too, which will stop Thors from being put into production until the army that he's building right now finishes up, which will stop maybe about half of a Thor before, about half a Thor of production. There are Thors on the map which are going to be extremely helpful against this mess of air units. There are Hellions on the map which will help against those things called drones that you totally don't need. So he's not looking too bad. I still have to hand this advantage over to the Zerg player so far, though. He just has a little bit of a better chance in this situation, I think. But here comes the possibly game-ending engagement. The mutas are going to be coming up, and they are going to be mostly left untouched, actually. And those will going down, and I don't think there's much that Quiz can do about it. He just doesn't have the ability to out-produce his opponent. And right now, Xahova, he can really build anything he wants at any point. He doesn't necessarily have the same restriction, of course, besides the fact that he does not have any gas at all. Oh, excuse me. Spire needs to be rebuilt as well, so we'll be able to see more Corruptors, more Mutalisks. Maybe we'll see Vipers, who knows. As unlikely as that is. Wait, now that I think about it, don't Vipers come from a Hive Tech as opposed to from the Spire / Greater Spire? I feel like a noob for not remembering that, but I guess I'll have to look it up after this cast is over. So now's the point, guys, where a caster has really kind of lost a lot of what he's talking about. Yes, there are pushes coming out, but in between there's really not a whole lot to discuss or to bring to you guys' attention. It's fairly straightforward. But here was the probably final engagement, and it looks like most of the Mules have been exterminated, with the Corruptor down in a little bit of danger since they're standing over Thors, which are kind of meant to do splash damage. And when you group up a large number of units, such as Corruptors, tends to do quite a bit of damage. And actually, this game has been so back and forth. I love it. It's one of the closer games I've casted in a while. Oh, let me see an engagement here. Oh, they're trying to do something here, but instead, not really able to do so. And right now, our Terran player is pretty much going paycheck to paycheck. If paychecks were minerals that you gained every about 10 seconds. It looks like Xahova is just going to plain leave. And also the picture of a burning queen. Beautiful. Alright guys, now is the time as always that we take a look at what each of these players could have done better, so that they and you can learn a little bit for next time. So as always, we're going to start with our not so fortunate non-winner, Xahova, the Zerg player, who I still love the name of, by the way. Xahova. Anyways, getting a little bit sidetracked there, going off onto a bit of a tangent. What could he have done better? Well, first and foremost, I do not agree with a couple of the transitions between the beginning and end of that game. I don't understand why he continued to go up onto the Corruptors and Mutas at the end of the game there, when he kind of knew his opponents were going up onto Thors. And he could easily drop down a Rotorn and just roach it up. So I'm not really sure what he was thinking there. There's not much I have to say for Xahova. Not much I have to say for either one of these players, actually. Because they both played kind of solid. I believe this is a higher level game. I believe this is Platinum or Diamond. In any case, let's go over to Quiz. What could he have done better? Spending happened a lot in the mid-game, and that's something that he seemed to have struggled a little bit with. He wasn't able to get up as much bases, but I think that's a little bit more to do with the map than it has to do with his particular skill. But probably I would say try to be a little bit more aggressive. I know that mech is a very passive composition, but especially in the mid-game there were plenty of opportunities for instance drop play, or possibly for Hellion run-bys. And towards the end of the game, there was a lot of those, and you were able to do a lot of damage and keep the third player from getting what he wanted to get. And if you can do that, as any race, as any player, you'll win the game. Okay, guys, I do think that will be it for this one. Before I go, a few real quick announcements. If you like this cast, as always, please comment, like, subscribe, and share. If you like to get your game casted by me, you can send a replay on over to ZookaMan100@gmail.com. Or if you'd like to just get a replay casted and don't mind if it's me, check out the subreddit Cast It. And it's a really good place to meet new players, not really new players, but more players, and discuss games, get games casted, and so on and so forth, casting yourself and whatnot. It's where I get most of my replays, and it's a good site. I would very much suggest that you all go ahead and go take a look at that. Good place. And we're going to have that be it for this one, guys, because I just did 2 casts in a row, and my throat is starting to kind of rebel. And that one was a long one. And it was a very active one, too. But in any case, that's going to be it for me, guys. This is ZookaMan, and we'll see you on the next cast. Take care, guys.